Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this very informal webinar on our wonderful India Immersion trip, Learn and Heal in the Heart of Ayurveda. My name is Suzanne Otterbein, and I'm the National Enrollment Advisor for Kerala Ayurveda Academy. And I'm really happy to be joined by my colleagues, Jamila Kalozi and Kathy Moore and Dr. J Raj and Koti Kanath. We're very excited to talk about this trip today, and we thought because we have lots of resources on the website, we have a course catalog as well as a recording of an informational webinar on the India Immersion that talks in detail about the format and what to expect, the itinerary, that we would use this opportunity the next 30 minutes to share with you a behind the scenes talk about our favorite experiences. So you can really get a sense of what it's like to join us this summer on this wonderful trip led by our Academy Director, Dr. J Raj and Koti Kanath, and our trip coordinator, Kathy Moore, who's our Academy Manager. So if we could get started, that would be great. I just want to go over, before we get into our memories, the format for our trip. So we have two different formats starting in July 14th. We have a 21-day tour that goes to the north for 7 days and then to the south for the remaining 2 weeks. So you'll fly into Delhi to start and have 7 days in the north, and then you'll be flying to Kerala to visit one of our facilities there, the Health Village, and you'll get to go into the Kerala countryside and the Kerala backwaters, and then fly to Bangalore to our wonderful award-winning yoga and Ayurvedic center, Ayurveda Gram. You have the option to shorten your trip and come 15 days just to the south, and that starts July 21st and goes to August 4th. So I'm just wanted to give you that overview of the format, and we can also follow up and send you the course catalog that has the specific itinerary and more details on that. So one of the wonderful things that you'll do is you'll be able to travel to the Kerala countryside, into the mountains. And I want to, at this time, introduce our Academy Director, Dr. J Raj and Koti Kanath. We call him Dr. J for short, so I'm going to call him that for the rest of the webinar. And he is our trip leader, and he really is so passionate about taking students, alum, people from our community to India. He really is bringing you home, back to his home. And he really wants to share the beauty of India, of Kerala, of the north, of Ayurveda Gram, and really allow you to experience Ayurveda and yoga in these beautiful, beautiful places. So he's our Academy Director. He is also leads up our Ayurvedic Wellness Center. We have an Academy and Wellness Center in Milpitas, California, if you aren't aware of us already. And we offer a wide variety of Ayurvedic education programs, certification programs, workshops, and web series, and have a fully functioning Ayurvedic clinic. So I want to introduce him today to share our first memory and experience hiking in heaven. Dr. J.
Hi. I want to welcome all of you to my home, Kerala, India. India Immersion, for me, it's like, one of the most fulfilling retreat for myself that I conduct, taking those who are really want to experience, soak in, to get immersed in the culture, the nature, the tradition, the healing, the cuisine, the wildlife, all aspects of the diversified country, India, especially the God's own country, Kerala. In the tourism map, global tourism map, you can see Kerala, that small strip of land with a diversified flora and fauna as the God's own country. So I want to welcome all of you to my home and to travel with me. I will be there the whole 21 days. Spending time and explaining the places, the historical background, its traditions, and my stories. So I want to wholeheartedly welcome all of you to my home. Of course, hiking in the heaven, one of my highlights of our previous trip. This time also we'll be doing this. We usually say the heavenly of Kerala, one of the highest peak of the evergreen forest of Kerala, Periyar. There are mountains, serene, very a calm spiritual abode of Kerala, and traveling with the group, chanting. And one of the real, something that touched my heart last time was one of our team members. She is a pediatrician. So she sang a song. On the top of it, we are all sitting together and enjoying, the clouds are just moving. And she sang a song of, the universal love. And we are all the children of Mother Nature. And there is no difference between us. We are all the children of one mother. And it was, really touching everybody. Most of them, at the end of it, we asked them the feedback. That was a beautiful sight. We go and see the tea plantations, and it's a lovely trip. On the high range mountain in the jeeps. One side it is, very steep hills, and on the other side with the flowers and the nature, sitting there and breathing and meditating together, singing songs. That is one of the real highlight of the trip. Kerala is very, every plant is healing, and also explaining the plants growing in the wild, naturally. Nobody planted it there. See the tea plantations, and we are all walking. And on the way, there will be hundreds of medicinal herbs growing naturally. So it's a very rich, place. The richness of healing, richness of love, richness of, compassion, and, the highest, the human virtues. So I want to welcome all of you to experience that. And we want to make it as, a trip to cherish the whole life. And both the time, in 2017 and 18, the entire team thoroughly enjoyed it, because it's a right mix of learning and experiencing India. Thank you.
I was muted. Thank you so much, Dr. J, for sharing that memory. I do want to add that hike, which was so wonderful, was in Perryhair National Park, which you will be going to on this trip. And what was really fun about that as well was we got to travel in these jeeps, through this rugged terrain, and then go on this beautiful hike. So it was really, really wonderful. And also, as Dr. J mentioned, we would go on these hikes and all these wonderful herbs and plants were just growing everywhere. And one of my favorite memories was going on that hike, and all the time we had this opportunity. One time we pulled over to the side of the road and for a rest, and we decided to go on a hike, and Dr. J led us through this field and started pointing out all of these herbs just growing in the wild. So, for me, growing up in the suburbs and this, the city, to see these herbs out in the wild and hearing about their medicinal properties was just so fantastic for me. I just couldn't get enough of that. And we were learning so much. Here's another photo of Dr. J at our medicinal gardens in Kerala at the health village, and there's over 10,000 plants there. And so we had the opportunity to walk around with him and other Ayurvedic doctors there and learn all about the plants. So we had these impromptu side of the road tours, as well as going into gardens and hearing these wonderful stories about lemongrass, about amalaki, about we even went on a spice tour, and we got to see cinnamon bark and cardamom. and we learned about, hearing about the healing properties of neem and guduchi. So if you've studied Ayurveda or you've taken our programs, we learn a lot about these herbs and plants and spices in the book, but it is so, so very nice to get to see them growing. Not only in a garden, organized, but in the wild. I just found that absolutely just so fascinating, especially to see the spices growing, things that I use every day in the kitchen, to see how they grow in nature. I really, really loved that. And this is actually a picture of Dr. J giving a tour at Ayurvedagram and talking about that. Before he came to the US to be our wonderful Academy director, he was the chief medical officer at Ayurvedagram for 10 years and really spearheaded the effort of many of the plantings there. So I'm going to introduce Jamila Kalozi, who is our manager of marketing, and one of her favorite memories has to do with that tour at Ayurvedagram, learning about all of the plants and trees and herbs there, and every single one has a special meaning and healing properties. So this is one of her favorite memories, is with Dr. J hugging one of his babies. It's an amalaki tree. So Jamila, if you could share some of your memories on that, about that.
Sure. Thank you, Suzanne. And thank you, everybody, for joining us, whether you're here right now live or tuning in later. So as Suzanne mentioned, and Dr. J, there's so many plants that you meet on the trip. You make many friends with plants. And so I loved that in general. But the story that Dr. J shared, in particular here with the Amalaki, was that here on Ayurvedagram's plantation, it's our wellness center and retreat center where you'll be able to stay at the end of the trip. He actually helped design the landscape there and the herbal gardens. He played a role in planting each plant that you see today. They started as little babies. And so over the years, he has watched them grow. And so whenever he returns, he gets to see how his babies are doing and give them a hug. And we also got to taste the fresh amalaki, which was picked from one of the trees. And it's a bit bitter, as you could see from his facial expression. And so Dr. J, if you have more comments, please share, since these are your babies.
Definitely. Thank you. These are all, making me a little bit, emotional, because this is, one of my dream projects, what I have done, transplanting Kerala to Bangalore in a 13-acre land. How I can recreate Kerala in that setting, and, every aspect of it, all the 18 buildings in Ayurvedagram are, over 100 or 150 years of traditional home, healing homes we transplanted from Kerala brick by brick, wood piece by piece. And again, bringing that healing element of planting the medicinal herbs. And, when I was a part of this since 1994, and it was a plain land. And recreating that medicinal garden, the medicinal forest within the Ayurvedagram was one of my, really fulfilling projects. We have over 200, Ayurvedic herbs growing there. And yes, all the 7 Amalagi trees and Haridagi trees are planted by these hands. They're all my babies. And whenever I go there, I meet them, I talk to them, and I really feel, very nice in doing that. They give a lot of fruits, and, usually July, August time, you will have enough fruits. So this time also we'll be able to enjoy some Amalagi trees, even though it is, a little bit astringent and bitter, but they are the true, species of the traditional Amalagi. So thank you, Jamila. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamila and Dr. J. This is one of my favorite memories too. I loved that. So this is, I love this memory of Dr. J's. So we were, you will be traveling through the backwaters of Kerala. And one of the, so you'll spend the day on a riverboat. We'll talk about that in a little while. But we stopped for the evening at this wonderful resort that, and they had a pool we were all really excited. So I want Dr. J to share a little bit about that experience and our stay at that resort.
Yeah, I will never forget that, all are in the pool. We are playing and it was very nice. And suddenly, the monsoon rain comes. Oh my goodness, that experience is out of the world. We are in the warm pool and suddenly this, the rain falls. It's not drizzling, real pouring rain.
Yes.
And, it was a very special moment. And many people mentioned that in their concluding, reflections, that that was something very special, as if the nature is, blessing us. And in our Indian tradition, we always say that when, unexpectedly, when the rain comes, whatever you are doing at that point of time, there is a blessing from the nature. So this is the resort, and, very, uh, a high-end resort in a very natural setting with the butterfly gardens and, the bird sanctuary, and able to see the various type of birds and butterflies naturally, not in the cage butterflies. There's a whole area, different types of butterfly grows, and and great food.
Oh yeah.
And also, Suzanne, remember, so many of the participants loved the gift shop at that place.
Oh yeah, we loved shopping. We went there multiple times, even though we were only there for a day, a couple of days. But yeah, it was a really wonderful experience. I think too, we had been traveling a lot, and we were so happy to be at this resort. They had a beautiful Ayurvedic food and this pool, and I loved the bird watching. We got up early in the morning to go on a bird watching hike, and they did have the butterfly garden, and they really were just planting the appropriate plants to attract those butterflies. So you would walk into this area and just be surrounded by all of these butterflies of different colors you've never seen before. And that monsoon I've never been out in the rain that hard before. And I think the wonderful thing was we were all just playing in the pool and enjoying ourselves and relaxing. The rain came and not one of us moved. We just all were in the nature and really enjoying that experience. And the sky was so beautiful. We had a beautiful view of the river and the landscape beyond. And yeah, it was a very unforgettable memory. So thank you for that, Dr. J and Kathy. So one of the memories I have, and I think we all share this, because was such a wonderful experience, both the trips that we went on, was the friendships that we made and the connections that we made. So we spent a lot of time together. We had people coming from all over the country, even internationally, and we became just so very close. We did yoga together every morning, and meditation and pranayama. We were on, you can see us all just having a wonderful time at this bonfire that we had one night. We traveled a lot, getting from place to place, and when we were traveling through Kerala, and these wonderful, I have to say, wonderfully luxury buses, so comfortable. And we would switch around who we were sitting with every day. We had to have a buddy, and we would try and have people switch up their buddies. So you'd be sitting with your buddy for a few hours, chatting and getting close to them, and then experiencing all these wonderful things. So it was a really once in a lifetime trip. We were all experiencing this for the first time. This is a photo of at Ayurveda, one of the last nights we're there. We have an Indian night, and we all get dressed up in saris, and we watch traditional dance, and it was just so much fun. We had such a wonderful time together over the course of the trip. We created a WhatsApp group prior to going on the trip, because Kathy helps you a lot getting coordinated and ready for the trip. So she created a WhatsApp group so everyone could be in contact, or she could be in contact with them if she had to make, trip announcements. And we kept that WhatsApp group through the trip to communicate. So Kathy, again, she's coordinating everything and making sure everyone shows up at the bus on time and is aware of all the activities that are happening during the trip. And we went on that trip a couple years ago. We're still communicating through that WhatsApp group as everyone has gone home to different, places across the country. We're still very, very close and have this wonderful connection and kinship to everyone on that trip. And you will also experience that as well. You'll make friendships for a lifetime.
Yeah, I always feel, so good when after this 2 years or 3 years, they still bring some of their photos that what they have taken, still very active in that group. That means it is there still in their hearts that the time they spend together with us in India.
Yeah, trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, I want to introduce you guys formally again to Kathy Moore. She's our Academy Manager, and she also is our trip coordinator. So she's been coordinating this trip 2 other times. She's an expert at dealing with any issues that come up. So beforehand, before the trip, after you sign up, she's your resource for any questions about, travel plans, visas, what to pack. We have all that in writing, but if you want to talk to her, she is the absolute expert to share with you what to expect. It can feel perhaps a little overwhelming to travel to India. I know that I felt a little overwhelmed going for the first time, and she will help you with any questions that you have. And then during the trip, talk about a can-do person. She just, whatever, if there's an issue, a problem, a question, she is there to handle that for you. And the other wonderful thing is everyone that you meet on the trip, in Kerala, in your travels at Ayurvedagram, are absolutely wonderful and want to make that experience the best for you. And she really is the key to that, making sure your experience is wonderful. So I want to introduce Kathy. She was also the trip photographer. She's an amazing photographer, and she took all kinds of pictures for us, which is really wonderful. So thank you, Kathy, for sharing your one of your favorite memories of the photography and
yeah, definitely. I love this picture because, you see my head up there. It actually looks like I'm in the tree. I'll be in the tree lurking. Anyway, I was a photography major in school for my bachelor's degree, and I love taking pictures, but so many people on the trip do too. And this is such a great opportunity. Whether it's a picture like this of just sort of capturing moments or, other, just the landscape itself as we have here, or, maybe getting more, artsy in your pictures. This one of the houseboat on the right was, again, like what Dr. J was talking about. We were blessed with the rains. You can see it coming, and the sun came out, and I was like, I gotta get outside. The light is great, So
and
I would have gone further if I could.
This flower is considered as a divine flower. It's Ixora, great for skin healing. Yeah, we use it a lot in many of the
Perfect, Dr. J. So you're talking exactly like this is exactly what happens. You're thinking, oh, it's a pretty flower, and then Dr. J tells you that it's an amazing flower. So this is what will happen.
The trip is Ayurveda is everywhere. It always is everywhere, on every part of the globe. But having a video with you in India to point to every single aspect of it just brings it to life in a way that you probably have never felt before.
Yes, right. It's a really different experience, learning experience. And as Dr. J said, it really gets to your heart. So you can, as I was saying earlier, we can learn about the plants and the herbs from the book, see maybe little samples of it, but to be in it and to be around it all the time was really just an amazing experience. I do want to add these wonderful photos that Kathy took were of the riverboat cruise on the Kerala backwaters. So you can see how wonderful. What I loved was the landscape of river river in nature. Coming from the East Coast in the US, this was a completely new landscape for me, which I really enjoyed. I don't know if you want to switch the slide. Oh, no.
More of Kathy's photography.
All right. So
then we'll get back to you, Suzanne. I know you have great memories of the houseboat. So we'll get there in a minute.
So we'll get there. So I want Kathy to add more about her memory. So sorry to.
No worries. Those are just sort of some random pictures that I took that you can, again, take sort of snapshots of moments, which I enjoy doing. But there's always something interesting to look at, obviously, whether it be super colorful or nature or just, there's so much to even photograph at the Health Village or at Ayurvedagram. Everywhere we're going in the north will be, just phenomenal. Some will be very iconic, must see picture of the Taj Mahal, right? I mean, you got to do that. But then there'll be other times, just capturing moments. But it's really going to be those memories that we have with each other that is so important, that we'll love. And here's a rare picture of me.
Right. We had to include it. We had to include it, which I love. So this is a great view from the houseboat. So you'll spend the day cruising on a beautiful houseboat into the backwaters, into the rivers. You can see, I love this picture. It really does give you a sense of what it's like to just enjoy and relax and really appreciate nature. I loved the river. I loved the landscape. The houses were so intriguing, and seeing and imagining, really, I was imagining what was life like living on the river like this. And it made me think, perhaps, the North Carolina backwaters might be similar. So here I am and just enjoying the staff. We had a beautiful lunch on the riverboat, and we relaxed. We were greeted with wonderful coconut water, sipping right from the coconut. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day, and such a unique experience that you wouldn't have anywhere else except in Kerala.
It's a part of the backwaters of Kerala in Alleppey, globally known, with different boat race and the whole lake, Vempanad Lake is there in the serene backwaters of Kerala, very famous.
I like to call this photo, Suzanne is thinking about buying the boat. Which we all thought about while we were cruising down the river and into the lake. Speaking of sipping fresh coconut water, this is one of my favorite memories, is when we arrived at the end of the trip at Ayurvedagram. I guess a lot of my favorite memories are at Ayurvedagram. It's a very special place. So great job, Dr. J. I know you were that. So when you arrive at Ayurvedagram, it's called the Heart of Healing, and the level of hospitality I have never experienced. I really felt like I was being treated by a divine being and being received into a divine place. It was so warm. And so we were greeted the moment we got off of our bus after our drive and our plane ride, and we were anointed with our bindis. You get the fresh coconut water and the flowers. The smell is fragrant. You can smell all of the herbs and the spices, and it's so lush and quiet. And we also were greeted by, it's not just music, this is really otherworldly. So Chanda Melhem, it's a very ancient art form. And so it was a very auspicious ritual welcoming for everybody as we arrived into that heart of healing. And honestly, you guys, I cried. I cried as I was entering Ayurvedagram. It was, like I said, it was really otherworldly, and I felt so connected to everybody there. Every plant, every little bee and ant, and all of the beautiful staff members, everybody came out to greet us and were so genuinely happy to see us.
And one thing I think,
you know, just to add, the Chendamelam is a part of royal welcoming. You know, when the king comes to any of the specific places, always greeted with the Chendamelam, because Chendamelam is an announcement of somebody special coming. So it is considered as a royal welcoming. It's loud, but it is so rhythmic, and you will get into a different zone. You know, that the rhythm and the sound of that multiple instruments, you will get into a different zone altogether.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. Wonderful. Kathy, did you want to add something?
I was just going to say, the one thing that I think no one's mentioned, and I think maybe this is why you cried, Jamila, is because you get that you're always welcomed with the statement, "Welcome home." And I think that is really important, impactful, and you know, you just feel it. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, now I'm home. You know, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Really nice memory. Thank you. One of the wonderful you have many opportunities during the trip to experience a lot of cultural events, and one of Dr. J's favorite is the fire ritual, and which we got to experience at Ayurveda. So I'd love, Dr. J, for you to expand on that. And
sure. Yeah, it is called Ganapati Homam. Ganapati Homam, that we conduct as a part of, you know, Ganapati or Vinayaka is considered as the remover of obstacles. So we do this as a ritual. And what we usually do is, in the main ritual, myself and my wife as a couple representing all of the participants sit and do that specific process of ritual, then ask everybody to come and put the offering. So it is called the Ganapati Homa, and considered as something done for our, you know, making our life, you know, successful without any obstacles. And, you know, fire is a purifier, you know, and there are specific herbs and specific ingredients used in that to create the healing environment doing these, the havans or the homas. So that is one of my commitment I wanted to do every trip when we go, taking the participants through that process of, you know, helping them to remove all the obstacles in their life and making it, you know, successful, happy, healthy, able to live longer. Whatever I can do, contribute as a part of our cultural process. That is where we do the fire ritual, the Ganapati Homa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. J. So one of the memories I think that we all loved was meeting Master Mohanty. He is the yoga master at Ayurveda. And one of my favorite memories of doing yoga with him, you have the opportunity to do yoga, meditation, and pranayama every day at Ayurveda. And it is absolutely wonderful experience. And one morning we went out before the sun, just as the sun was rising, to do our sun salutation practice in the main, it's not a garden, but the main area outside. Usually we practice in a wonderful studio. And so that's one of my favorite memories of doing yoga with him. He is has many, many years of experience. And really what is so wonderful about Master Mohanty is he will take these complex yogic theories and principles and really make them accessible to everyone. And he really allows everyone to have space to do the practice that is available to them. And also with the meditation and the pranayama, as well as the yoga, he will incorporate Ayurvedic principles in. And, you know, as yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences, there's such a beautiful, close relationship and union of mind, body, and spirit. It's really a wonderful way, approachable way to incorporate yoga into your life. If you don't have experience with yoga, he is so wonderful, inspirational. You will have the opportunity, if you want, to set up a one-on-one, you know, meeting with him, and he can talk about the yogic healing interventions, while you'll also be experiencing the Ayurvedic healing body work and healing interventions while you're there.
He's a great yogi.
Yeah.
He's a great yogi. We worked together
Mm-hmm.
more than 10 years at Ayurveda Gram. Whatever the plans, the yoga, pranayama, meditation, Ayurveda, a perfect blend of the Vedic sciences, healing sciences together. Both of us created that in 1999 and 2000, and it is still running. He's a great yogi, a great soul. He's like my brother. And when you interact with him, you will understand that it is not technically some yoga teaching.
Right.
Everything is coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So wonderful.
Jamila, did you have anything you wanted to share about Master Mohanty or your experience with the yoga and meditation and pranayama?
Sure, absolutely. I will say that Mohanty doesn't even have to open his mouth. You just are in his presence and his aura. He shines, he really radiates. His ojas, or his vitality, is so strong, and it's infectious. You feel really elevated. Your soul is elevated being in his presence. And I'll say it's sometimes yoga can challenge us, right, as we are meeting the obstacles that are in our own minds and our bodies. But he has a way of inspiring you to feel capable of meeting that every time.
That's so very true. So very true. Thanks. Kathy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
In terms of Master Mohanty, I mean, you just can't beat him. Like, I don't know, like, he's such a great person. He is very approachable and inspirational, but fun too. So yeah, I think everyone enjoys him. I've never met anyone who doesn't. So.
Yeah, he's wonderful. When you're, for those of you that study Ayurveda, you know that we believe that everything is made up of the 5 elements, right? Ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And he would sometimes incorporate one of the elements into the practice for that day and talk about, the appropriate pranayama, for instance, for that element. So it really was, as Dr. J said, they created, the union for the healing interventions for Ayurveda and yoga. And so to experience that every day was just such a beautiful, beautiful gift. So thank you all for sharing those memories with us. So this is one of Kathy's favorite memories, and I have to say that it was a favorite of many of our participants. So this was when we were in Kerala at the Health Village, which is one of our other Ayurvedic healing centers. And Kathy, please share this.
Yeah, definitely. So as part of the program is that we will be going to 2 different facilities to run these free community health camps, which they regularly do. Here you can see in this picture, Dr. Sheena, which some of you may know, is here with a couple of people interacting with this woman. It's a pretty powerful experience, and whether you know Ayurveda or not, you will find yourself useful and you will learn a lot. And it's incredibly humbling as well to be there and to kind of witness their stories. Even though you may not understand what they're saying, you do understand what they're saying. I remember once, Dr. J, I think I was sitting with you and a couple other students, and we had a woman who came in, and she started sobbing and pointing to her arm or something and talking to you. And of course, the rest of us didn't quite know what was going on. But I think by the time she stopped, like, all of us were in tears and just really, and then you described what had been going on. And I think, it was at the old age home, and she didn't have visitors and such, but we knew that just by the experience. And it was just really, really powerful. And everybody was really impacted by this. It's a wonderful experience. You can see
You know,
Dr. J.
yeah, spending a day there is so special and important for me whenever I go there, because I see my parents in them. I see my grandparents in them. The affection, the love, the way they smile at you, the way they greet you. You know, they always, Kerala Ayurveda, our team in India, they go there on a periodical basis, consulting, following up with them, distributing the Ayurvedic formulation for their health. Every time they ask when Dr. J is coming from US. So when I go there, as if, you know, their son is coming after a long time home from the work. So it's so special. I can't explain that. I really feel that when I go there, I spend time with them, each one of them. So
Yeah, in that previous picture, that woman had made these paper flowers, and like they were beautiful. They were
I
just
still
made out
have
of
it with me.
napkins.
I
Oh,
still
that's so
have it with me.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah,
I still have
yeah.
it.
She gave them out to all of us. It was awesome, and they love to have their picture taken. I mean, they don't look like they love to, but they actually do.
Thank you for sharing that memory. It was such a, as I said, a favorite memory of many, many of our trip participants as well. It's a really special day. So we showed you a lot of pictures from the South Tour because that's what we've been doing in the past. And what we're really excited to let you know is that we're offering the opportunity to go to North India. And that is the first 7 days of this trip. And I'd like Dr. J to talk a little bit about what you're going to see and experience in the North, starting in
Yes,
Delhi. Yeah.
sure. India is a very diversified country with a lot of thousands of years of rich history, culture, tradition, practices at all levels. Nature, spirituality, healing, you know, spiritual elevation, yogic practices. So this time I wanted to include that at least 1 week in experience in the north. Um, the highlights are going to be, one is visiting Taj Mahal. It's one of the world wonders. And that is definitely an experience to cherish the whole life. Then we'll be going to Rishikesh and Haridwar. They are the spiritual centers of India, a lot of ashrams. There are people, they go there and spend their life. It is not that they need to have their own house. It is not they need to, see how they can eat. It's there. It's a part of spiritual community living. All are like sisters and brothers and, children and parents living a community of purely focusing on connecting and spiritual elevation. Yoga, tantras, mantras, rituals. And it is on the banks of the Ganges River. Ganga, the Ganges is considered as the holy river that can purify our body, mind, soul. Taking a dip in Ganga is considered as purifying at all levels. So when we go there, we'll be doing the Ganga Arati that is usually done during the sunset time. You all will be going there. That is another ritual. Arati is lighting the oil lamps and with the flowers. And we do that. Arati is considered as so auspicious. And also taking a dip in the Ganges. So I wanted that as a special experience this time. Then we'll go to Jaipur. It's a state with a lot of royal palaces, a lot of history. So we'll be visiting some incredible places in North India and see the Delhi, the capital of India, and seeing the diversity, the various cultural and natural aspect of North. That is the first 1 week. Then we'll go to the South to experience. I will assure you, you will have all this experience if you are traveling with me this time. This is not just story to hear. This is the story to experience when we go this time. This is not a story to just hear. This is a story you are going to experience with me if you join this time with me, definitely.
Yes, thank you, Dr. J. Yeah, there's so many more memories and experiences we could talk about, because every day was just a beautiful, beautiful experience and a beautiful gift. So, but we wanted to give you the highlights of our personal favorites. And I want to thank you all for joining us today to hear about these memories that really touched our heart, and we still carry them with us. They're very dear. So I wanted to let you know, if you have any questions at all, you need support, you can contact me at admissions@keralaayurveda.us, and I'd be happy to talk to you further about the trip. And we also have lots of resources on the website. We'll follow up with an email and give you a link to the catalog that gives you all of this information in detail. And we also will give you a link to the informational webinar that we did last month that also talks about the trip in more detail. We wanted to give you this really informal opportunity to share with you the experience, right? We're telling the stories of what we loved, and knowing that you're going to be experiencing them too. So thank you all so much. I apologize that we went over a little bit, but we love the trip. We love India, and we're just excited to share. So thank you for spending a little extra time with us.
No problem. Finally, I want to really welcome myself and my family. We'll be joining this trip, the whole trip. We will be with you. And we want to ensure that you have that rewarding experience to carry with you the whole life. So welcome home. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste.